The Disappeared, Part 10, Seville, Spain, 1978. Sylvia. Is it possible, Eduardo, that a year has gone by since we left Argentina? It is hard to believe we are safe here in Spain. Our city of Seville is one of Spain's oldest cities, and we are not the first foreigners to escape to Seville. Romans, Visigoths, Muslims, Jews, and Christians have all had a hand in the city's history. The university we attend was built over 4,000 years ago. There is so much history here we could drown in it. Though you are with me every day, I still write my letters to you with my secret thoughts I cannot put into words. I don't speak of it to you, but in the dark, my nightmares come back. Over and over, I see myself dragged from our home and thrown into a car. I feel the cold dampness of the cell and hear the voice of Remos. Then I awake to daylight and safety. You and I are always suspicious, so afraid that our new lives are just a dream that will end. So we seldom talk of what happened. Instead, we speak of Argentina. But not the Argentina that keeps us awake in the night. We are seldom far from one another. When we walk arm in arm. Last week, for the first time, we drew close to speaking our haunting memories. We were sitting in my favorite place, the Maria Luisa Park, breathing in the fragrance of the orange blossoms, surrounded by fountains and flower gardens. I was sipping a limonada. You had your nose buried in a newspaper. From behind the newspaper, I heard grumblings. I asked, "What's the matter?" You complained, "The one time Argentina gets to host the World Cup soccer matches, I'm stuck here in Spain." I smiled. I suppose you were happy that all the countries finally agreed to play in Argentina. At first, several countries had refused to take part in the matches because of General Videla and his prisons. But now, all the countries are there. You said, if the teams had refused to come to Argentina, it would have made the world see what Videla was doing to the country. Still, with teams from all over the world, and with hundreds of reporters at the games, some truths are sure to come out. I'd give anything to be there. I'd put on a demonstration they couldn't ignore. I said, "In that case, I'm glad you're here." Then I pointed out, Netherlands star player Johan Cruyff is refusing to play. I know, that's good for Argentina in two ways. First, everyone will hear what Cruyff has to say about our people in the prisons, and without Cruyff, Argentina is more likely to beat the Netherlands. "Eduardo," I said, pretending to be shocked, "that is so cynical. I wish none of the teams had agreed to go to Argentina. I don't care about the matches, I care about the prisoners. Think where we were a year ago." You gave me a long look and realized what a foolish thing I had said. "Did you think I would forget?" you whispered. I reached for your hand. "I'm sorry. You were the one who truly suffered. I only complicated things." "No, it was your information against Lopez that saved us. Father says it destroyed Lopez. Without that, we would be in prison or dead." "If you had it to do over," I dared to ask, "would you?" I saw you, Eduardo, struggling to give a dispassionate answer. I hear you often at night, moving about in your room, unable to sleep. You must have your nightmares just as I do. I think it unfair that we have nothing to say about what happens in our dreams. Finally, you told me, I should have been more cautious. My ideals and my pride were all tangled. When I saw what was going on, I felt a desperate need to change things. I didn't understand that to slay a dragon, you must creep up on it. I thought only of those the dragon was devouring. I gave no consideration to what my actions would mean for you and mother and father. I was a soldier marching into battle with no plan. On this first day of June, you and I and our parents and many of our exiled friends from Argentina are gathered around their television set. It is the opening day of the World Soccer match. We are not the only ones looking on. All the world is watching. The cameras focus on the stadium, and in a dramatic show, hundreds of white doves are released. You are angry, Eduardo, and complain, "The dove is a sign of peace. There is no peace in Argentina." The fans in the stadium scream with excitement. Suddenly, the camera moves away from the soccer stadium. At the very moment when the generals want the world to see what a fine, peaceful country Argentina is, the cameras show the Plaza de Mayo. I reach for Mother's hand. "Look, they're showing the marching." The mothers are holding up signs for the camera. Give us our desaparecidos, the signs say. The cameras return to the match, but all the world has seen the mothers. People will ask questions. They will want answers. They will learn of the disappeared. Later that evening, when the match is over and the guests have left, you and I, Eduardo, sit outside under the stars. I ask, Eduardo, do you remember how Father would let us stay up until the sky was dark and he could point out the stars? Do you remember how we went with Father to the planetario and he told us the story of the phoenix and how a small worm crawled from the nest the sun had destroyed? The sun warmed the little creature and turned it into a new and beautiful bird. Will that happen to Argentina? You shake your head. You will not say. General Videla still rules Argentina, but it is said his days are numbered. You have had letters from Montevideo. Teresa tells you she and her mother are safe. They hear nothing of Ramon. He is among the desaparecidos. But still they hope. Isabella writes me that General Lopez is ill and in prison. I try to feel some pity for him, but I have none. Senora Lopez and Norberto, she says, are rumored to live together in a small apartment. I imagine them locked together for life, Norberto loathing his mother even more as his jailer. When he is not at the hospital, Father is also writing letters. His letters go to the editors of newspapers in countries around the world to protest General Videla's visits abroad. Father's letters follow Videla to Venezuela and the United States like diligent bloodhounds, urging these countries to pressure the general into freeing political prisoners. Mother's furious poems about the families of the women she marched with have appeared like angry wasps in several Spanish publications. Eduardo, you are writing too. The articles of yours that you said Ramos laughed at, as well as new articles that you have written, are being secretly circulated in Buenos Aires among the students at the university. But I only listen and watch what is happening in Argentina. I am catching my breath. I am waiting for the nightmares to stop. Then I will look around and see what is to be done. The orange blossoms are in bloom all over the city. We breathe in their fragrance. We have new life. Last week we went to see an American film, Star Wars. In the evenings we visit the cafes for tapas and dancing. You have a girlfriend with eyes like a doe to whom you are teaching the tango, but I suspect your thoughts are of Teresa. I am seeing a boy who is in my Spanish literature class. We study together in the library, our feet nudging one another under the table while we read Don Quixote. Our new home is on the Guadalquivir River. Across the river is Triana, once a gypsy settlement, shelter to another homeless people. On warm evenings, when our windows are open, we hear the flamenco music from the riverside cafes. I write back to Isabella, and you, Eduardo, write back to Teresa. We write warm, friendly letters with no politics to excite the censors. In our letters, we promise that we will return to Argentina. Every morning, we wait a little nervously for the other to come downstairs. Then we go on with our lives.